It's time for the Rip City Wrap-Up. The Rip City Wrap-Up is brought to you by Dick Hanna Subaru, Believe in Nice, and Jack in the Box. Now here are your hosts, Joe Simons and Danny Marang.
The Blazers erase a 21-point fourth-quarter deficit, but they came up short. Another buzzer-beater loss for your hometown team. They're now 6-9 and have lost 6 of their last 7. Hello. Welcome into the Rip City Wrap-Up. That's Danny. I'm Joe. Let us know what you think. A lot of emotions, a lot of opinions out there. Use the hashtag RC Wrap-Up. We'll get through it together. You want to start with the last play?
We can start there.
Didn't love what I saw defensively.
They collapsed, probably over-collapsed a little bit. 2 helped inside, which, if that's the way you're going to play it, not in the huddle. I don't know what they discussed. If they wanted to take that away, you're only up 2, so you probably need to deny the 3. But as great as Deni was tonight, he gets a little bit of blame there. He was a little flat-footed. If 2's going to help inside, use a little vernacular, Denny's got to X out there and make the coverage out there to Vooch. And then if 2's going to recover, he would have recovered to Modest Buzelis, who was above the break as well. So if you're going to help, you have to help the helper. So Denny's got to rotate over, then 2's got to recover back up. Neither of those things really happened. So you had Modest and Vooch who would have had looks, but Vooch was killing you all night long.
He was, aside from kind of slowing down in the fourth quarter, which let the Blazers get back into the game. He was dominant in the first half. And the last play to me is representative of what the Blazers defense looked like all night. Chicago had open threes the entire game. They knocked down a bunch of them. They finished with 21 makes, but out of those 49 attempts, 35 were pretty open.
Yeah. And I think what the Blazers were trying to do was to limit the paint damage. You know, you don't have Robert Williams III. You're going with Young Hansen, who flashed a couple things. He only finished just 1 of 4, but it was one of those things with him when he was on the floor, there's a little bit more juice. And unfortunately for the Blazers tonight, the Blazers bench really struggled. Caleb Love just couldn't find it. The thing about Caleb is he's not going to stop shooting. If you watch Caleb play in college, whether at North Carolina or Arizona, he's a guy that he's going to get shots up. His NBA skill is he's going to get shots up.
Well, last night, if you stayed up late to watch that obscenely late basketball game, Caleb kept the Blazers in that game in the first half. I mean, Phoenix run him out of the gym in the second half, but that would have happened in the first half if not for Caleb and a really strong performance last night.
100%. That's kind of the tale of Caleb Love's career. He is a guy. He is a feast or famine kind of guy. You ride the roller coaster. If you watch Caleb in college, that's what he did. He could throw a team on his back on a given night, but he could also struggle. But the thing, some people looked at it as a negative, like, be aware of yourself. You have to have a supreme level of confidence to be a guy that gets shots up endlessly. Like, he is, to go full Ted Lasso, he's a goldfish. He forgets. His last miss, doesn't care.
Don't bring that show back.
Oh, come on.
Leave it alone.
It's already coming back.
We've had enough.
It's already happening. It's done. But to be honest, I wish guys like Toumani and Chris could have that sometimes. They get a little tight, they press. Caleb Love, he sees the rim. If he gets a clean look, he's going to let it fly. There's a supreme level of confidence that he has that if he's going to get an open look, he's not going to pass it up.
Yeah, already Doug and Mr. Mariner Fan 01 chiming on YouTube. Thank you for the comments so much. A lot of Bill Schonleys out there. You've got to make your free throws. Denny despite a triple-double, Denny had a triple-double tonight, some loud misses
critical
at the free
twice
throw
of
line.
Denny. Denny had a triple-double tonight, and we're like, defensively he's probably got a
See, now, it takes a Coug to understand when you properly Coug it. This was a proper Couging.
Yes. You did all the work to get back.
Did all the work to get back.
You gave it up.
Took the lead and then missed a free throw defensive lapse, and somehow the Blazers end up losing that game. But 21 of 32 from the free throw line. Denny did miss 5.
Uncharacteristically. He was shooting 85% of the line coming in. Now, historically throughout his career, I believe he's a 74 or 75% free throw shooter. He's about average. But he had basically been lights out from the free throw line to start the season.
And you don't want to be tough on a guy who finishes with that line.
Yeah, shoots 50, 43, but 58 for the free throw line.
That's right.
But he's got 32 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, and I think he only finished with 3 turnovers. For a guy who was basically asked to be the playmaker for 48 minutes. He played 37, almost 38 minutes tonight. And when he's on the floor, he's your primary catalyst for everything. Not only is he your major rim pressure guy. He's also the guy that's trying to create for others. And, we talked about this coming into this season for Deni, what this season was going to look like. Talking to the Blazers front office throughout the summer and kind of what their plans were, their hopes were for guys. One of the things that I asked was, what's the ask on Deni? And they basically told me that some version of, we want to tax him beyond what we think he's capable of. And then we can reel it back in. We want to see truly what he's capable of. He's had performances like these over and over and over and over. Like even on the quote-unquote bad Deni nights, when he starts 0 of 11, and then he comes back and has, I think he finished like 27.
Yesterday was
7,
really the only
5.
clunker all season.
Yeah, so out of 15 games
15
now?
games now.
He's basically been 25, 7, and 5.
And this is great, but the thing that we talk about with Deni's All-Star campaign is the record's got to be there.
Yep.
And you had a very, very public beatdown last night on national television. And now you have a game where it looked like, oh my gosh, they're going to lose by 25. All these players are injured, which you haven't mentioned. They were down 7 guys tonight. You have all this starting to add up, and you think, oh no, what's kind of going on? You have this miraculous comeback. Everything kind of comes together, galvanized by Deni. Jeremy had a great game too. Donovan's ripping down rebounds.
Donovan had the best game of his career.
Everywhere. And it's great, but it's like when a baseball player hits 3 home runs in a loss. Like it's great, but what does it ultimately
the old Mike
mean?
Trout. It's the Tungsten Armo Doyle tweet. It's, if you pull it up on Twitter, it's great. It's Mike Trout hit 4 home runs, went 5 of 5 from the plate.
Shohei Ohtani.
He does X, Y, and Z. It's something that has not been done since 1912 when Tungsten Armo Doyle did it, and the Angels lost. It's like, yeah, there's a little bit of that tonight. We've talked so much about clutch games, and the Blazers have now played 10 of their 15 games, have been within 5 with 5 minutes to go. They are now 4-6.
They started out winning those games.
Yeah, but they're 4-6. They're a coin toss away from being 500 in coin toss games. People think that if you flip a coin 1,000 times, it'll come up 500 heads, 500 tails. No, that's not how the math works. Eventually, through an unlimited amount of coin flips, it should even out. But sometimes you get 10 heads in a row. Sometimes you get 10 tails in a row. 50-50 does not necessarily mean that after 10, you're going to come up 5 and 5. And so they're 4-6. 2 of those clutch opportunities have been on last-second buzzer-beating threes. One against Orlando when Desmond Bane hit a miraculous 27-footer, and one when Nikola Vucevic, knocks down a 3 that they maybe lose him on.
Like we talked about before and earlier in the season, this stuff does regulate after a while. Like things do regress to the mean.
And they're playing with nobody.
They're playing with nobody, and we've said it before, and we'll continue to because I think it's important to keep these things in context. A couple of those games they won that were close were against the Nuggets and the Thunder.
Yeah.
The Thunder have one loss this season. It was to the Blazers. Like that's still a thing that happened in this season. I know right now it doesn't feel like that because they've lost 4 straight, and their only win in the last couple of weeks was at New Orleans, and even then it didn't look great. Like I get everything that's happening. They're still trying to find their way after the injuries to Tease and Blake, and it's now piled on because of Drew's injury and Shea dealing with the calf soreness. And
Jeremy was sick as a dog. I mean,
flu game. Producer Danny calling it the Jeremy flu game.
I talked to Jeremy before the game, and I was like, "How you doing, man?" He's like, "Oof,
You can't miss your cup night. Like
No.
that's a tough look."
Yeah.
So he manned up and he had 33 points.
I mean, you look at what you got from 2, Deni, Jeremy, Donovan. You could not have asked for more. I'm not sitting here blaming the bench, but the bench production just wasn't there.
Now let me push back on 2 because he is starting to. There's a rotating dartboard in Rip City, and early in the season it was Shaden, Donovan at times, Young Hansen, and now it has moved over to Toumani Camara. He is the one who is, this guy can't shoot, what's going on? We paid him, and now it's this situation. Have we seen enough of a sample size this season to make a declaration on 2, or is this a speed bump, or are we just not in a position to make a judgment because it's 15 games?
So I was actually talking to a scout about 2 last night. And he asked me if anything was wrong with 2. And he's not a team scout. He's a development biomechanics scout. And I go, no, not anything that I know of. Like guys will ask me, does so and so have an ankle or a knee? Because like when they're looking at things, when they're watching film, they're doing evaluations on guys. They'll want to know those things. Like a lot of times, guys, to be blunt, guys don't always end up on every injury report when they've got an ankle, a knee, a thumb, or whatever it is, right? I mean, Dame played for literal years with a groin core issue that was the size of a baseball that was not always on the injury report because he just went out there and do it. But I think the thing with Tu right now is he's being asked to handle the ball more than at any point in his career. And I think the defensive ask is the highest it's ever been in his career because at the beginning of the season, he could not be the primary on-ball guy because Tease could pick up that slack, Drew could pick up that slack, Blake could pick up that slack, Chris could pick up that slack. Now his offensive responsibilities and asks have been elevated quite a bit. And now he's fallen short of that because the three-point shooting hasn't been there. But have you noticed how much he's been on the ball trying to create, trying to drive, trying to find these other spots because they need him to? So his offensive ask, his offensive burden, his offensive output, like the actual physical act of trying to create, think about how hard he works defensively already. This is a guy that covers more ground in the NBA than almost anyone, and he doesn't do it slowly. This is a guy that fights through and around every screen imaginable, picks up at 80 feet. He has picked up less and less and less full court pressure over the last 2 weeks. Why? Because the ask has been so tremendous with all the injuries. Jeremy's a good defender, but he's not Toumani. Chris is a good defender, but he's not Toumani. So in Shaedon, while he's a better defender, you're not going to put Shaedon on a primary creator.
No.
Like, what have opponents done to close the last couple of games when Shaedon's on the floor?
They've gone after him.
Who do they go attack? Yeah. And that's not to say Shaedon's this god-awful defender, but if your option is, do I attack Toumani Camara or Jeremy Grant, or do I attack Shaedon Sharpe, who do you attack? That's the nature of that beast. So Tu has just had to do so much more, and I think the wear and tear, number one, of how they want to play, how aggressive they want him to play, how much his ask is defensively already, and then you throw the other offensive burden on it with them playing this many games. Through 15 games, they have basically played every other night for the past 3 weeks.
What's troubling to me about it is not how much Toumani is scoring or not scoring, because the situation is dictating that he has to shoot the basketball.
They've got to start hitting threes.
He literally has to shoot because it happened tonight, more so last night against Phoenix, but it happened tonight against Chicago as well. With Deni being the main focus, they clamped down on him, and they did the same thing last night. Mostly with Shaedon, as opposed to Deni. And to Shai's credit, he found a way to scoot away at times.
He killed in transition.
Yes, but Toumani is being asked to not only carry that burden, but he gets so many open looks from three, he has to take them. And the problem is confidence right now. You can see
it.
Toumani hesitating. Donovan, God bless him.
He lets it go.
Missed like 20 in a row, and he still fired him. He knocked one down tonight.
Lets it go.
Caleb doesn't care. And it's just so interesting because Toumani is a defensive guy, and he plays with such confidence on that end of the floor. It's this tricky thing of he clearly doesn't feel that comfortable offensively, especially when the shot's not going, and it compounds upon itself. And so even though it sounds counterintuitive, it feels like he has to shoot his way out of it.
He does. Like, I don't think Toumani is Klay Thompson. He's not that level of offensive guy. Do I think he's a 36, 37% three-point shooter? Yes. There are guys in the NBA, we talked about this when we were doing the old show. You know, we knew guys who were notorious fast starters, guys who were notorious slow starters. Like CJ McCollum has always been a fast starter in his career. If you go look at CJ McCollum's like first 15 games every year, the number of times we're like, is this the year CJ's going to average like 26 a game? We had the tracking CJ All-Star stock kind of a deal. Even
like in Washington, I think he's had 50 already this season.
He's a guy in the beginning of the season. He peaks early.
Right.
That's some guys peak late. Some guys are a little bit more steady throughout the season. Dame's always been a guy where January, February, March, that's when he really turns it on. It's just it all depends on kind of how you're wired and how you attack a season. Like some guys, I've heard some people say that guys are lazy and they'll play themselves into shape. It's like if you look at like old-timey baseball pitchers, they're all big guys. With the exception of like Randy Johnson, all of them kind of have a little bit of a belly, like a CC Sabathia, a Kurt Schilling, and Roger Clemens. Bartolo. And all those guys said the reason we do that is because it's better for our bodies, because we can absorb more wear and tear, because we're not just
the old John Daly. You can't pull fat.
It's a joke, but there's some truth to it. Like when you're a little bit bigger and you can absorb some hits and you can absorb some contact, those kind of things. Look at Tu. If this ask is going to be that much more, look how he's built. And it's like it's one of those things you can see him kind of wearing down, not only physically, but I think to your point, mentally. And for the Blazers, I looked at this last night because I'm sitting there watching game after game after game of the last 6 games or so. I was just like, man, I wonder how much zone they're genuinely seeing. Only the Miami Heat going into last night have seen more zone than the Portland Trailblazers. Teams are just daring them to shoot.
Yeah.
Because they know that, and we knew this. We talked about this, the way this team was formed.
How are they going to score?
I joked about it. First to 100. This team, when they're healthy, can generate easier, better opportunities in transition. They're being forced to play slower and in the half court, and that is not how they're built, especially without the guys that are injured. There's no Blake, there's no Tease, there's no Giroux. Jeremy was out last night. Obviously, there's no Dame, there's no Scoot, no Shea tonight. Like, when you get that shorthanded and you're playing all of your two-way guys, you're playing your rookie center who isn't probably quite ready for a responsibility, you just start kind of looking up and down the roster and you're like, the starters gave you what you wanted. I thought CD gave him some good minutes. His effort, his intensity. Like, I've had a few Blazers fans ask me, like, what does he do? I'm like, it's effort, it's defense, it's playmaking. But he's a guy that's down the pecking order.
Got the start tonight.
And I think they did that to bring Chris off the bench so they have somebody more that they trusted.
We need depth.
Somebody's got to come off the bench.
Well, especially with Chicago's bench being so proficient.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe had, 25 again tonight?
Yeah, and Kobe comes off the bench just because he's on a minutes restriction. That's the only reason he's coming off the bench right
now.
Yeah,
he's played 2 games this season. He had 27 against Denver and 25 tonight.
Yeah, they went into double overtime, I think. Or they just go into overtime?
They went to double overtime. They lost in Utah. They gave
that's
them 150. And then the next night they went to Denver. And everyone's like, oh, my God, Denver should win this game by 20 because Chicago was really in the lost, I think, 4 or 5 straight.
And you're
at that
going
point.
from Utah to Denver, so you're going from altitude to higher altitude on a back-to-back.
Kobe comes back, has 27, and they get this crazy win tonight.
In a game where Jokic went bonkers again.
Right.
So, yeah, the Bulls can play. And to be honest, it was actually interesting when I was watching the game play out. Kobe did his thing. The 2 guys that I expected to kind of, give Portland problems were Giddey and Buzelis. Neither of those guys were all that impactful.
Giddey had 13 assists, but he had 5 turnovers too. He looked out of control at times.
Yeah, his rim finishing just wasn't there, which has kind of been his bugaboos have been his rim finishing through contact and knocking down threes. Buzelis did try to snatch somebody's soul with a dunk. Yeah. My goodness. I was like, oh, buddy, thank God he got fouled.
Vooch, man, what a professional basketball player.
Look, fight on, baby. Go USC.
I forgot he went to USC until they mentioned their broadcast. I'm like, oh, Marang's loving this.
Are you kidding me? Every time I see him in the hallway, I throw it up for him, man. That's my guy. But Vooch is a professional scorer.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was sitting next to a scout for the scouts sit on each side of me every game. And somebody said something about Vooch missing a defensive assignment, and this other scout goes, Vooch isn't there to play defense. That's not what they're asking him to do. And he's like, I know, but he's like, no, you don't know. He's there to get buckets. That's what that man does. And Vooch gets buckets. He's a professional bucket getter, all 3 levels. He can hit you with that post fade. He can hit you with the post footwork. He can create on the block. He can knock down threes. You saw it tonight, like how good he can be. He finishes 11 of 19, 5 of 9 from 3. He's a 7-footer that hits the glass. Like, he's a good player.
I mean, I'm more surprised by the Blazers' comeback than I was Chicago being up 20 because it happened 100%. Gradually and then the dam broke. And you just saw the lack of options the Blazers had, and then they started causing turnovers. Chicago got in their own head. The crowd started getting into it, and it got to a point where the Blazers led very late, and then they lost.
Then you mentioned the free throws. Yes, they missed 11, but what did they do?
They got there.
They got there 32 times to Chicago's 14. And now Chicago did take 7 more threes, so there's some trade-off there. But Portland got Chicago in the bonus in the 4th quarter with 9.5 minutes to go. That is when I heard that, I was like, oh.
We got something here.
I think they got it to 13 with 7 minutes to go, and I'm like, they're shooting free throws the rest of the way. This means Chicago's got to back off. That's going to make lanes open up for Deni, and what happened? All of a sudden, those lanes opened up a little bit more.
Deni went big.
And he just got it done.
Deni went big, and sometimes, not all the time, you got to go big. I'm talking the triple bonus jack combo. That's 3 juicy patties of beef, 3 slices of melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, pickles, and Jack's secret sauce on a toasted bun, plus fries and a drink. Ooh. You can order it right now in the Jack in the Box app. 3 times the beef, 3 times the flavor.
Another great night for Rip City. Not really.
Absolutely. And you know who's all about people just like this team? Why, it's Dick Hanna Subaru.
Right? From your very first drive, excuse me, from your very first visit to your first drive, they're focused on making a difference for you and our community.
That's why they say believe in nice.
Dick Hanna Subaru, it's not just about cars, it's about people.
Time for a deep dive into a shallow topic. That's right. It's Trend BA. What do we have here? Oh, sure, from our pal Shams. You got his phone number, right, Danny?
Nope. He doesn't like me much.
The NBA fined the Cavs $100,000 for violating the league's player participation. You can read. So Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley sat out the game for quote-unquote rest, and the NBA dinged them for $100,000.
Stop setting your stars. Well, there's actually a bigger thing about this. I was talking to a few executives about this over the last 2 nights. Did you see the report from the NBA about the baseline testing with the injuries?
The biometrics. Yes.
So, for everybody wondering, I saw somebody when I announced the injuries from the Blazers announcement earlier today, somebody mentioned, when do we start blaming the training staff? Well, the Blazers training staff has turned over 3 times in the past 6 years. So you don't.
Just real quick, what this is showing from Tommy Stats is the amount of star players playing a lot has fallen dramatically.
And almost all of them are soft tissue injuries. So the Golden State Warriors.
Get in there, Dr. Dan. Talk to me what a soft tissue injury is.
That's your calf. That's your hamstring. That's your quad.
Muscle.
It's the muscles. Like you break bones, you break bones.
Not a bone, it's a muscle.
With that, they are skyrocketing across the league. The Golden State Warriors' entire starting lineup was out against Miami.
Yeah.
The Blazers are going to go on a road trip, and they've got OKC, Chet Holmgren out, J-Dub out, Alex Caruso out, Lou Dort's been in and out of the lineup. They're going to go to Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo, groin, out. They're going to play San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama, out. Steph Castle, out. Dylan Harper, out. This is not a Trailblazers problem. This is a league-wide problem. John Morant, out. Calf injury. Shaedon Sharpe, out. Jrue Holiday, out. Like, the number of soft tissue injuries is so egregious that the league said, we have got to take a look at this. And so far, what I've gotten back is the compression of the schedule, particularly in the first quarter of the season before, because remember, was it the Nick Stauskas night? It was season opener. It was October 18th.
Yeah.
That was when they pushed the season back. That was, NBA legend was born that night. Nick Stauskas.
Sauce Castillo?
Legend. Yeah, Sauce, baby.
We
Knocked
all
off
remember.
LeBron and the Lakers. But it was one of those things where it was 10 days earlier.
Sure.
7 days earlier than we typically go. Well, they moved it back up, and then they added the cup games.
Right.
Which compressed.
That's the variable. So if you look at your calendars right now, Blazer fans, there's a gap of like
I think it's 11 days.
2 weeks almost where there's no game schedule because they don't know what the schedule is going to be because of the NBA Cup. So they compress everything so they can refigure it and have a couple buffer days. So that's why everything is so compact. You heard Steve Kerr talk about the fact that they're playing 7 games in 10 cities in like 11 days or something crazy like that. Portland is going to be the beneficiary of it, I guess, because they're playing Golden State. They lost in Miami tonight. They're going back across the country to play Portland on Friday, Cup night. But it's a serious situation, and I think we just have to start. So this is a gentleman who put up a scree about what he thinks a potential solution is. The first line is a complete non-starter. You will never have less than 82 games in an NBA game in an NBA season.
The reason
you won't.
why is, and I had this exact discussion with somebody tonight. If we just got to 58 games, and I go, cool, go to the NBA Players Union, tell them right now that they're playing a 58-game schedule. They'll go, yay! Also, your pay is being cut 40%.
Right.
Because you know who pays? It's media partners. You know what they're paying for? Inventory. And if you're taking 26 games away, or excuse me, 24 games away, 24 times 30, that's how much inventory across the country.
And you look at, all these enormous deals, these national deals
Cut
with
40%
Amazon,
off of it.
NBC. That changes the equation very, very quickly. So while I think it's good that the NBA is doing this, if they really wanted to actually make systemic change, you would reduce the season, which I know is not going to happen because the owners are never going to want to do it. The players aren't going to want to do it because the owners aren't going to want to pay the players. I get all that.
Yeah, because you're not getting the same amount of money.
But if you expand from when the season starts to when the season ends, that is the, I think, realistic solution. I know what the issue that you're going to say is. The NBA is a year-round league, and that cuts into the offseason and kind of the hot stove of the NBA, which is another part of the year that is so crucial to the NBA. It's very, very crucial.
There's another one, too.
Okay.
It would be better for them, in a sense, to push the season out further than it would be to start it sooner. And one major reason why.
Less competition with football?
It's the Shield.
Yeah.
It's the NFL. NFL is already coming in and saying, Thanksgiving's ours. That's always been our king. And now guess what they're doing? Christmas.
Well, they got my terrible Cowboys on, so.
Which we have to watch them on Thanksgiving and Christmas?
I'm not interested.
I'm not either. It's gross.
Well, they beat your lousy team.
Yeah, my team sucks. So they're fine.
He's a Raiders fan.
I love my Raiders, but boy, they're not good. Yeah. With that being said, the NBA just needs to kind of swallow their pride and be like, we're not going to be the NFL. Nobody is. Nobody is dethroning the NFL for the foreseeable future. And by foreseeable future, I mean the fall of man. Like in this country, you're just not going to pass it. So just suck it up. Just suck it up and have the season start October 10th, October 12th, whatever it is. Give yourself that buffer so you don't have 5-game and 11-day trips. So you don't have 6-game and 12, 13-day trips. Like, we talk about this all the time. It's an old adage in the NBA. What is the first home game back after a long road trip?
It's another road game.
Okay. What did the Blazers do? They came home, had a day off, and then played a back-to-back with an 8 o'clock start time, which means you get less rest coming into the next back-to-back. What do you think that's going to do to your product? Oh, by the way, you're missing 7 guys. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? And I think those two things are synonymous. It's the time missed and why the NBA fined the Cavs. Because the Cavs, those guys were available. But the Cavs said, it's more worth it for us to pay $100,000 to rest our 2 best players against a Heat team that is missing players and go, we'll roll the dice. Now, they ended up losing the game, but they were willing to do that.
This is a big problem, though, because you have to rightly penalize teams for resting stars while also acknowledging that players are not getting enough rest. It's a very strange circumstance, and it sounds so trite, but who is taking the brunt of this? The fan is. The fan who went to their only Cleveland Cavaliers game.
There's a perfect example. We have a guy who works here who asked me about going to a Spurs game. And I said, he goes, I really want to see Wemby. And I go, if you were going to pick one player in the NBA that you have to be in the building for, it is Victor Wembanyama. There's nobody in the NBA. Jokic is incredible to watch. Luka is incredible to watch. Giannis is incredible to watch. Those guys plays, and it kind of the freak show side of it, how big he is and the stuff he can do. You have never seen a human do what he can do. He is worth the price of admission. I go, if you were going to go to a game and you were going to spend money and you were going to sit close, that's the game you go to. A week later, Wemby has a calf injury, and now he's not going to play.
That was my first thought when I saw the injury was Blazer fans are going to miss Wemby again.
Because they missed him last year.
It's just disappointing because it's a league built on stars more than any other of the major sports leagues. The faces are huge. You're right there. It's an intimate game. You're on top of the court. And when you go to these games, and like the Cleveland game, that is the game. I always think about it this way. When stars sit out, especially for the home team, there are people where that's the only time they're going to see the Cavs this year. Maybe it's the first time they've ever gone to the Cavs, and they don't get to see Donovan Mitchell play.
And Donovan Mitchell's a star.
Yeah, especially in that town.
Yeah,
it's very disappointing, and it doesn't feel like the NBA is taking real tangible steps, if you want my true opinion. I know this biometrics thing is whatever, but it seems like the kind of thing you do when you're not actually willing to do the thing that will actually fix it.
They want to have their cake and eat it too. The closest parallel I can draw is let's rewind 10, 12 years in the NFL concussions.
That's exactly right.
They didn't want to recognize it because it's the most violent game played by the most violent guys on field. That, guess what? When 280-pound dudes who run a 4.40 run into each other, their eggs get scrambled. Yeah, and there was this whole thing, there was this outcry from fans of like, but what about the player? Meanwhile, the player's sitting there going, I don't care. I voluntarily do this. If you think I'm too stupid to realize that me getting my head hit 57 times a week is causing me damage, how dumb do you think? It's like when people tell boxers, like, oh, you're getting punch drunk, you're getting dumber, and like, yeah, dog, I know. I punch people for a living.
But to bring it back to the NBA, it's a kind of a difficult comparison because you have these guys who are in various stages of their career, and fans, whenever they hear anything about the calf or the lower body, they're like, sit down for as long as you need to because we're not risking the Achilles. It's this
Especially
thing.
with how many Achilles have
Of course,
gone.
it happens like that now. And it will be interesting to see why these types of injuries are occurring if they actually can uncover the data. But man, if you just had a season that started in early October and went through June, would we be having these issues? I don't know if we would. There's a lot of back-to-backs. It's a lot of games in a short period of time.
I'm with you. And it's, again, you're never shortening the season. It's
No.
just not happening. To be honest,
That's everyone giving up money.
I mean, what is the NFL doing? Is the season gotten shorter in the last 25 years, or has it grown 2 games?
Seasons will never get shorter. That's
No,
not how
to
this
continue
works.
to grow. The NFL's at 17. They're going to 18.
We live in a capitalist society. Things have to continue to grow for them to exist.
And
That's the way it is.
And for them to continue to make more money, and for that cap to continue to grow, what do you need? You need more inventory, which is why we have expansion. Like, it's all these things.
I don't like it. I'm just a brick in the wall, people.
It happens.
That's it.
So, look, I don't ever want guys that are going to get hurt.
No,
Or I should say, get injured. Guys play hurt all the time.
of course.
Don't get injured. And that's the thing that you run into. When I talk to players, I don't think the general fan knows how often guys are playing hurt. I genuinely don't believe they do.
I mean, who is healthy even at this point in the season?
Nobody. There's not. 70% of the league is healthy opening night because you're going through training camp and you're picking up a knock, you roll an ankle. Like, if you play basketball, you roll an ankle, you jam a finger, you bang knees. Like, it happens. Now, if you get out of training camp unscathed, awesome. But the reality is, as soon as you play it for, I don't think he'll care if I say this. Chris Murray's playing with knee pads on right now because his knees are so scraped up, he is just bleeding every time he hits the floor.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And he had white knee pads on, and he goes, I bled through the last pair. And I'm like, Chris, put the black ones on. And he goes, I guess I could do that. I'm like, I'm just saying, they can't see you bleed, though, if you got the black ones on. So maybe you want the white ones on. But
Got to show it off a little bit, you know?
I mean, let them know you're hitting the
Gladiator type
floor.
stuff,
Get a little Hoosier, slap the floor a little bit. But, yeah, these guys are beat up, man. Like, I'll never forget when Josh Hart was on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Hart's ankle is the size of a grapefruit. It is black. I mean, it is so black. He can barely walk. I walk in the locker room. He's got this thing submerged in what is the closest thing to frozen water I've ever seen. Like, it's almost solid. It's just enough for him. Like, he broke the top layer.
The boat just went through the iceberg.
Yes, 100%. He gets out of that, and the swelling is still god-awful. And I'm like, Josh. He's like, I'm fine. And he barely can walk to his locker a foot away. And I hear him talking to the trainer, and he's like, I'll be okay. I'm going to play tomorrow. He gets on the plane, and I was talking to the guys when they came back. He goes, Josh was legitimately trying to play the next night. And everybody had to tell him, absolutely not. Like, you can't walk. Like, you should be on crutches. That's what these guys, so much of these guys sitting out, it is not the player. It is the front office or it is ownership.
Well,
I would say 90% of it is front office or ownership, not the player. The player wants to play.
to bring it back to the game tonight, Big Dom played 34. He was out there and 17 points, 21 rebounds.
Knocked down a three again.
Knocked down a three. 10 offensive rebounds. It was the first time, I think the stat they put up was the first time since someone had 10 offensive boards and 10 defensive rebounds. But I think about someone like him. Now they have to go to Golden State, turn around pretty quick.
Against a team that doesn't play all that big and wants to get up and down the floor and play smaller. I thought what you saw from Donovan tonight was because they're playing the Bulls and Vooch, he got to stay on the floor. He got to kind of find his momentum because how many minutes did Vooch end up with? 34. Weird how those numbers match up, huh? Yeah, when Donovan can play with another guy because Vooch is a big boy. Vooch ain't flying up and down the floor. It's not a guy you have to. That's what Vooch and Donovan is the old throwback bigs. It's like Shaq and Arvidas. When one of them outlets the ball, they kind of give each other a look like, you running? No, I'm not running. You running? No, I'm good. And they both, it's like a gentleman's agreement.
Mutually assured destruction.
Yes, it's like, if I run, you got to run.
Yeah.
Okay, if you run, guess what I'm going to do next time?
Let's not do this.
It's like, you get two 400-pound dudes who are just going, yeah, we're good, right? They can play 4-on-4. Yeah, we can give the old trot down the floor. And I think you saw that with Donovan and Vooch tonight. Of like, there's game-recognized games, so to speak. And so when Donovan can pace himself, this is the thing we've talked about, knowing when and how to pace yourself. Vooch is, 6'11", 285, 290 pounds. He's a big boy. Vooch knows how to pace himself. And so Donovan can just kind of play off of that and go, I can just kind of run when Vooch runs. If I want to beat him down or try to beat him down every now and then, I can do that. I'm a younger guy. Maybe I can catch him a little every now and then. I can maybe slip by him, get to the offensive glass a couple times, or 10, and out-rebound the entire Bulls team on the offensive glass. But you also saw how that turned into more opportunities for him around the rim on those putbacks. This is probably the third or fourth game this year, unfortunately out of 15, where you felt Donovan Clingan's presence.
But does it take someone like Vooch playing this level of minute for that to happen?
Yes, because Donovan is matchup dependent, because if a team goes small, he can't punish you outside of murdering you on the offensive glass. Even tonight, he got a switch, I think it was on Isaac Okoro, who's a good, strong defender. He tried to back him down. No, it was Patrick Williams. Did you see him pull a chair on him? Donovan was very close to absolutely biting it. And it's like, Donovan's not a post footwork guy. You can't just throw it. Now, I'm glad that they did and gave him that opportunity, but it's like Rudy Gobert. You're not tossing the ball down to Rudy Gobert to go eat. What you are doing, and what the Blazers and Deni specifically has done over the last couple games, have you noticed how many more times they're looking for Donovan on the roll?
They really are on the lob.
It's a very real thing.
Especially also, early, trying to establish him.
Honestly, it's the Ben Wallace effect.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups used to say, or remind everybody, Ben Wallace, when he was with those Pistons teams, if you guys go back and watch the beginning of every single Pistons game, who got the first possession every single time? Ben Wallace. Why? Because they knew what they were going to ask him to do the rest of the game, and they did not care. If he wanted to take a three from half court, he could take a three. If he wants to try to post somebody up, he can post them up. If he wants to go skyhook, go for it.
Our boy Nurk had a little bit of that too. Terry Bear tried to get him involved early in the game to make sure he was engaged.
Why?
To make sure he was engaged in the game.
And where did Terry get that confidence from? Who had the first possession of every game for the Portland Trail Blazers? Was their best player for a long time, LaMarcus Aldridge. Every single game started with LaMarcus Aldridge on the left block. Let him eat. Now you're going to go to him later, but it was a tone-setting play of like, hey guys, this is what you're in for tonight. And no matter what else was going on, that was like, all right, LaMarcus, lock in. And he did it over and over and over again, because the ask for LaMarcus was to be the offensive burden, but also to let him know, hey, you're appreciated, big fella, because we do ask a lot of you. Like, LaMarcus was a guy that had to switch on guys when an era that really wasn't happening a ton, and he rewarded that. So there's an element of that to Donovan Clingan.
So is Vooch the prototype for what we're looking for Donovan? I know Vooch is very skilled offensively, doesn't really have the defensive chops, but in terms of taking up space, sagging back, it seemed like that is kind of what Donovan is trying to bring offensively. Maybe not to the level that Vooch has, but it's a way to sort of cheat offensively the way Vooch plays.
A little bit. It's obviously it's a poor man's version of that.
Sure.
But because Vooch is a very accomplished shooter.
Very talented, especially inside as well.
Yeah, I mean, his post footwork is still phenomenal. He can hit you over either shoulder. He can finish with either hand. He can face you up. He's got great hands around the rim. I mean, again, Vooch is a professional bucket getter. This is nothing new to him. Go look at his career stats. And for Donovan offensively, his number one offensive value is his offensive rebounding.
Right.
Like, clearly.
10 is a lot.
It's a big number. Again, out-rebounded an entire team on the offensive glass tonight. His superpower is rim protection as a drop big and offensive rebounding. If he adds something offensively, whether it be as a rim finisher, he doesn't need to be Rudy Gobert, but he needs to get them big old bear paws on the ball and finish at the rim, and that's kind of been a little iffy for him.
It looks better this year, though.
It has. It
a
has
lot
looked
better.
It has looked drastically better. And another part of figuring the spots out of like not only when to rest and when to attack, it's figuring out that when you set a screen, sometimes you pop. Sometimes you soft roll and you stop in the open space and catch and work a 4-on-3 as a short roll man. Sometimes you bust your butt and get to the rim as hard as you can, and you use your gravity knowing you may not get the ball. That is one of the hardest things for most big men in the league to do, is roll hard. Because sometimes you roll hard 10 times in a row, and the defense goes with you, and guess who gets that? It's the guy handling the ball. But if you continue to do that, and that guy that's driving the ball continues to score, guess what's going to happen? They're going to step up. And if you don't roll hard that time, and that double steps up, it's just not there anymore.
Friday's a cup night, folks.
Ooh.
We're back at it. Cup night. Producer Danny, do we have up to the second group of death standings?
There you go.
No, we don't.
Wow.
Well, we can tell you all about them momentarily.
I don't have them up, so sorry.
I think everyone's 1-1.
I think
we're going to get
right.
them. We're going to get them, folks. Hey, by the way, for those of you still watching this program, congratulations. You're a certified Blazers sicko. I mean, this was a gut-wrenching loss.
Everyone is 1-1.
And you've now, right? Everyone's
Yes.
1-1. I knew I was clued into the group of death.
The problem is the Trailblazers have a minus
Don't
22
worry about
point differential.
We don't have to worry about the differential. If there's not a tie, it doesn't come into play.
The Warriors are minus 24.
Okay, so
So you have a chance to push them further down and make up some of your own.
So it's a fight to get out of the cellar in West Group C.
What's terrifying is the Nuggets have a plus 23 in this group. But who did the Blazers beat head-to-head?
Yeah, by 2.
Yeah.
A dominant win by your Portland Trailblazers.
Love to see
So,
it.
look, you win against the Warriors on Friday, cures a lot of things.
Driver's seat, baby.
Driver's seat in the group of death. You get a much-needed win. Because after Friday, then you're playing back-to-back again, Sunday and Monday, and then you're playing Wednesday. Then you get 1 day off for Turkey. They actually get 3 days off at that point. But that's a lot of games in a short period of time, right?
I can tell you right now, they are looking forward to the Thanksgiving break.
Who among us?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's going to be fascinating to see how Portland responds in this game. Will this be a thing that galvanizes them, or is it, oh my God, I can't believe we actually didn't win that game, and they come out flat on Friday? It'll be interesting to see who suits up for the Blazers,
That's
for goodness
the
sakes.
thing that I'm worried about. I think you might see Drew out for not a very extended period of time, but I think
Maybe through the holiday, just because you have some time
it's
to
Drew
kind of
no
chill.
holidays.
Wow. That's why he's Deni Marang and you're
Yeah.
not.
It's tough.
Really appreciate you tuning in. Sorry, producer Danny, I won't do that again to you.
He will.
Everyone's 1-1.
There you go.
We know what's going on in the
We
group
got
of
there.
death. Thank you again for watching this program. We love you today and every day so much.
Bye.